Russ. Yeah, I'm still on the Engwe E26. Yeah, I finished off that last video. Figured it was time to cut it instead of making one big long video. Figured it was time to cut it, start up a new video, make life a little easier for everybody. Yeah, I'm still out here in Arlington Heights trying to figure out how to get back home. Yeah, that's the problem. Oh, okay, I know where I am. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Yeah, let's take a right over here. I'm trying to bop my way back home without pulling out the GPS. And the thing is, sometimes I recognize certain areas, but I don't recognize which direction I'm going sometimes, so I don't know whether I should be doing lefts or rights or whatever. And I get turned around pretty quickly, so who knows? Who knows? Yeah, we're passing this church. I think I did a wedding at this church. Yeah, I did. I used to shoot weddings. Remember I told you guys that? Yeah. I used to photograph weddings, among other things. Homicides and the like. Homicides, autopsies, weddings. Yeah, it makes sense, right? People used to say, you know, when they would book me, and they go, yeah, we hired that evidence tech wedding photographer guy. Yeah, that's what they would say. It was kind of interesting because your reputation precedes you sometimes. People have heard about it, and they said, yeah, remember that guy was pretty good. Yeah, you should hire that guy. So sometimes they seek you out. Other times it's just a coincidence. You know, they don't know your background. They just look up wedding photographers, and then they find you. You know, whatever advertising medium that you do, and then when you talk about what your professional background is, they're always kind of shocked. Yeah, they're always kind of shocked. So, but you know, I told them if I can cover that, I can cover anything. Yeah, so I shot weddings for a number of years, and then when my knees started to go, that's when I said, I don't think I can stand up at these weddings all day long anymore. That's when I started to think maybe I should just teach photography instead. So that's when I opened my photography school, did that for about 8 years, and then when the pandemic happened, I figured that was the time to close up and get that knee replaced. And then, of course, after the knee replacement, we said no one's coming back to these group classes anymore. I mean, nobody wanted to be together anymore, right? You know, social distancing, all that stuff. So yeah, I think I need to take a left eventually. I don't. Then that road up ahead, it looks like it goes up. Okay, I know where I am. Let's take a left here. So, yeah, then the knee replacement happened, and then I said, yeah, that's the end of the school, I believe. So we finally shut it down. I think the last few months of my rent, I didn't even use the school building. Still had to pay the rent. That was kind of tough. You know, you're not even utilizing it, but you got to pay for it. I probably should have turned there. We'll turn on this next one here. Yeah, you got your obligations. Other people just up and walk away. I don't think you can do that. So I paid my rent even though I wasn't there. Gave away a lot of stuff. I mean, I had chairs and tables and all sorts of stuff, you know, for the school. I remember asking my students, hey, does anyone want these things, you know? So one gentleman, student of mine, Indian guy, says, you want the chairs? He goes, yeah, I'll take the chairs. Yeah, they were good chairs. They were like restaurant quality chairs, you know. They're kind of padded, cloth padded seats, with padded backings, metal, solid construction. Yeah, he says, I could use it for parties when I have parties. I go, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Mrs. Wright didn't want to take all these chairs back home. And we had enough chairs for like 24 people. So he didn't take all of them. I did keep some of them. And then the rest of them he took. So I had to sell off a bunch of things too. A lot of studio equipment and all that kind of stuff. You know, some camera gear. I still have a lot of it. Gotta start cleaning things out eventually. I got way too many things, you know. I think as you get older, a lot of people do this, is they clean out stuff that they don't think they're ever really gonna use again. Mrs. Wright's been after me trying to get rid of my stuff for years. Can't seem to do it. Yeah, he's a hoarder. Just get rid of that junk. I go, that's not junk, that's good stuff. It is good stuff. I mean, there's stuff that have value to it. So she says, then sell it. I go, man, it's a hassle to have to sell all these things too. I don't like doing that either. All right, let's see. Let's head back this way. Let's see if I can figure out which street I'm supposed to turn on. Is it this one? I don't know. Let's try. I don't know. Yeah, okay. I recognize some of these buildings. So, yeah, that's that. So what about bikes, Russ? This is a regular bike video day. Yeah, okay. Let's talk about bikes. I've noticed that people have been still talking about the tariff and how the tariff is going to affect you. Which way am I going here? Maybe I should have turned this way. I don't know. Let's make the turn. I'm headed back in the direction I came from. People are still talking about the tariff and saying that you know, it's going to be 25% to you. I don't know whether that's true. They talk about a 25% tariff, but isn't that 25% to the manufacturer? And where's that 25% coming to? Is it the retail price, or is it the manufacturer's price that they're paying the 25% on? How are they calculating this 25%? That's what I want to know. So let's say, let's give some examples here. Let's say the bike retails for $2,000, okay? Let's say they put a, oops, maybe I should have turned there. I always look up at the last minute and go, oh, wait a minute, maybe we should have turned there. Now let's just keep going forward. Let's see what happens. Let's say it's a $2,000 bike. So, you know, these companies usually put some type of sale price on these things. Let's say they sale price it at $1,800. So is it 25% from the $1,800? Obviously, the manufacturer doesn't have a cost of $1,800. I don't know what these bikes cost these guys. Let's say the bike costs them $800. Okay. Do they get tariffed on $800, or do they get tariffed on $2,000 or $1,800? You see what I'm saying? Okay, we got to take a right over here, I think. So, so when some reports have been coming out saying, oh, you know, you better buy your bike now because it's going to go up 25%. You know, almost everybody's saying that. I don't know whether we, as the retail end of it, is going to see an actual 25% increase. Yeah, think about that. I'll give you an example. Rad Power Bikes. Okay, now we had purchased the Radster Road Large. Remember that bike? Mrs. Wright is hanging on to it so far. Blue bike. Yeah, it's $2,000. Yeah, okay, $1,999, $99, or whatever they put their ridiculous numbers at. $2,000. All right. They said it's going up $200. Well, that's a 10% increase. That's not 25. Now, if they were being charged 25% and they want to transfer it to you, wouldn't that mean that our $2,000 price would increase 25%? No, it isn't. They only increased it 10%. So I'm thinking that 25% tariff is not on $2,000. It's on their cost, or whatever they find that their importing cost is to import those bikes to the United States for them to sell it. So you might not see an actual 25% rise in the cost of the bikes. You will see a cost rise. I will say that right now. Whatever your bike is, it's gonna go up. We just might not see 25% going up. That's all I'm saying. Now, if a manufacturer does take it and bring it to 25%, I have to kind of wonder, is that just an excuse for them to actually raise the price higher than maybe they really should? That's what I'm saying. Put a comment below what your comments are about this whole tariff business, because it's hitting everybody. Others have said too, maybe some of these manufacturers don't realize that the tariff is happening, and so their websites haven't reflected an increase in the price. Well, that's possible. I kind of have a doubt that they don't know that it's going to hit them, but you never can tell. You never can tell. Some of the Chinese manufacturers, maybe they don't know they're going to be hit with 25% tariff. Who knows? But they're going to be hit with it. Everybody's going to be hit with it. So there you go. So anyway, that's just a point of conversation here. How much do you think it's really going to go up to the consumer? Yeah, let's move over here. I'm going to move to the left because I'm going to take a left here. All right, so yeah, this whole tariff business has been a really big thing. I mean, the weird part is it's not like nobody knew it was coming up. I mean, it's been out there. It's just that, you know, the deadlines have run out. So now it's going to happen. So really, how would anyone in the business not know about it? Now, we didn't know about it as consumers. We didn't hear about it until it started being reported. I didn't know about this thing. And once I started hearing word about it, I said, okay, this is going to affect everybody. It's going to be a big issue. So, yeah. Should you be out buying your bikes now? I would say, yeah. If you're really thinking about it, do it, because it's going to go up. It's just a matter of when it's going up, that's all, and how much it's going to go up. But if you're on the fence about getting a bike, this might be the thing that'll push you over the edge here. Nobody wants to pay more. Like if we were to buy that Radster Road large right now, it would be costing us $2,200 plus tax. I paid $2,000 plus tax, bringing it to $2,200 with the tax in there. But now I'd be paying probably close to $2,400 with the tax on it. You have until July. I think they said that for Rad, you have until like July 1st before they actually raise it. So they gave us all a heads up that the prices are going up. I don't know if it says that on their website. So if you're looking at Rad bikes and you're thinking of buying one, the recent models, I should say, the older models, they're not raising in price because, you know, they've already brought that in. They have a certain amount of inventory of older bikes. They're not raising those prices because it's not costing them more. It's already here in the U.S. It's the new bikes that are coming in that's going to cost them more, so they're passing that on to you. So many of their new bikes went up $200. Some of them went up $100. Like, for instance, the Rad Trike went up $100. Let's talk about this Rad Trike. Let's talk about this thing. That is the only trike I've ever actually ridden. Yeah, I went out to California and I visited one of the Rad stores. Remember that? I was out in Berkeley, California. I was visiting my sister. We both went out there. And yeah, so I got a chance to try out the Rad Trike. At that time, I think the Rad Trike was like $2,500, $2,500. Now their normal price is like $1,500, and that bike is going up to like $1,600, something like that. So that bike is going up $100. But the other ones are all going up $200. The totally brand new bikes are going up $200. So so yeah, the Rad Trike, when I rode it, you know, yeah, if I turned quickly, I knew I could tip that thing over if I wanted to. So you have to really be kind of careful. Whoa, there goes that garbage can. Flipped itself over. Interesting. So, so somebody asked me recently, are you planning on reviewing e-trikes? And my answer is no. No, I'm not. I know a number of people have asked me before, why aren't you taking your trike? Why don't you show it? It is part of the e-bike community. Well, it's actually not an e-bike, it's an e-trike. No, I can ride a regular bike, and so because I'm not at the point where I actually need a trike, I know that for myself personally, even if I got a trike to come in, I would probably just do the review and never ride that thing ever again. So I said, no, I don't have any intention of getting one to review. And I've been asked by a number of e-trike companies to take in the product to review. But no, I have to be true to myself, and I know that I would never ride it past the review, and it does take up more space in the house. I mean, think about it, it's wider. It's wider than a regular bike. And then I can't transport it. Like if I wanted to take it somewhere and say, let's go to a certain trail away from my neighborhood, I can't do it because it won't fit inside my SUV. And they don't make e-trike carriers for your rear of your car, e-trike rack for your rear of your car. I don't think they make anything like that. So if you bought a trike, you're kind of stuck in your own neighborhood. Where else would you ride this thing? I have enough problems riding the trails around my own area without people saying something. Not that we can't. I mean, we are allowed to ride on the bike trails, as you know. Our only requirement is that we stay within the 15 mile per hour speed limit whenever you ride a bike trail in the area. But you could ride it on the trail. I mean, you could ride a trike on there too, but think about it. If they've already there people are complaining about your regular e-bikes on there, what are they going to say about the e-trike? You're taking up all the space. I could hear that now. I could hear people saying, you're taking up all the space on the trail. I don't want to hear that. So I wouldn't be riding it. And really, I've always felt that, if a company's given me a bike to ride, I want to ride it for a while. I don't want to take it in and do the review and then immediately sell it. I don't think that's really, I mean, you're not obligated to the company beyond the review. I mean, that's all they really ask you for. But I always felt that, these people spend money on giving this to you. You should at least do something to help them a little bit, right? Ride it a couple of times at least. But I knew I would never ride those trikes beyond a review. So yeah, you won't see a review of an e-trike from me. Now, let's say something happens to me and I can't ride an e-bike anymore. Yeah, you might be seeing e-trike reviews from me then. But so far, I'm doing okay, and I ride bikes pretty well. I don't think I have an issue with riding a bike. Never have really. I've only fallen 3 times on my e-bike. Only. Well, I already said before that first couple of times I fell was because of a weakened leg. Yeah, the bike leaned towards the weak side of my leg, which is the left side. I didn't have the strength to hold up the bike and myself. I physically didn't have the strength to do it. So I knew I was falling at that point. I didn't fall off the bike. I put my leg down, just as you hop off of a bike because of stop signs and stuff. I was at a stop light at the time. Yeah, it toppled me over because I just couldn't carry my weight of myself and the weight of the bike. Yeah, the bike was about 70 pounds, if not heavier, with all the stuff you have on it. So that added another 70 pounds to the thing that you have to hold up. When your leg is weak, you can't hold it up. You just don't have the physical strength to do it. So this is why I've always told people, unless you are well enough that you have leg strength, knee strength, hip strength, whatever strength you have, don't go riding the bikes. Yeah, because you might have to lean toward that side and you might go down. I mean, it happened to me. I had a couple of people recently make comments and say this guy's always complaining about this and that, or he's scaring people away from e-bikes. Okay, That's true. I am scaring you away, but I just want people to be safe. Oh, and then they always say, oh, he's always talking about safety, then he blows off stop signs. Well, hey, you know why I blow off the stop signs too? I don't want to be falling. I mean, I already said I don't have the strongest leg, although it is stronger now. But I don't want to take risks. Why would I want to take the added risk? They don't know you. That's why they make comments, right? They say, well, you're breaking the law. Well, I would tend to think law enforcement would prefer that I stay safe to myself as well as to others. And that's how I got in the habit of kind of blowing off the stop signs. You know, I'll slow down. There's nobody around. I keep going. I'm not going to hop off. Yeah, he's always complaining. Yeah, well, yeah, I am always complaining. But I just want to be safe, and I want others to be safe. There you go. All right, what other stuff on e-bikes? What other new things? I mean, these are topics we've talked about over and over and over, but I think it's important. It's like helmets, right? Let's take a left over here. It's just like helmets. I always tell people, wear a helmet. You know, the thing is, if you don't wear a helmet, that's up to you. I mean, certain areas, there is no law that you have to wear a helmet. I don't know if that's a law in this area or not. That doesn't matter. I always wear my helmet anyway, but it's up to you. I mean, if your area doesn't require you to wear a helmet, I guess you don't have to, but I will tell you this. I know of a couple people firsthand knowledge, because a couple of my friends, right, they've fallen, they've hit their heads. They didn't have their helmets on. It would have been a problem. Yeah. One of my buddies who rides an e-bike, yeah, he fell. He had an X-Needle helmet on. Yeah, they gave him another helmet. They did. They gave him another helmet. And yeah, he says it was a really good thing. I says, yeah, that this is why we wear better helmets. Speaking of helmets, all right, let me tell you something here. There was a helmet company that contacted me. They're not the only helmet company. Multiple helmet companies have contacted me, asking if I would endorse their helmets and do a collaboration of videos with their helmets. Now, I could do it. I could do it just like anybody else. One of them has communication type devices on it, I believe. Okay. If you're thinking it's the Senna, no, it's not the Senna. They have not contacted me. But another company. I think it was a push to talk type of thing, but I don't know. Yeah, they contacted me and they asked me if I would do a collaboration. I didn't respond. Now, I was tempted. I said, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind having a helmet that can communicate with Mrs. Wright. But I told you guys before, Mrs. Wright doesn't want to hear from me. Yeah, she really doesn't. Because I hear you talking all the time. Why would I want to hear you talking when I'm riding my bike? This is what happened when you've been married to a person long enough that they don't want to hear from you anymore. So, but anyway, it would come in handy, right? So I was tempted. I was like, oh yeah, I can get a couple of these helmets. It won't cost me anything. We can communicate with each other. Yeah, let's take the trail. See if anyone yells at us. But I didn't do it. I didn't take it. Why? I mean, it was a highly rated helmet. They've gotten a lot of awards and everything. Why didn't I take it? Because I don't think that helmet's rated to 28 miles per hour. The X-Needle one is. So, so I says if I take that product on, I'm going to have to wear it while I'm riding. I don't want to wear it while I'm riding. I want to wear the safer one. Okay, it doesn't have communications. It doesn't have this and that. Okay, it's got blinking lights. It's kind of cool on the X-Needle, but the other one had blinking lights too, and communications. And I think it costs maybe about the same too, or very close to it as the X-Needle. So I'm thinking, let's turn right. I'm thinking, yeah, I should take that. You know, get a helmet. Don't cost me anything. It got the communications. I've got to go for the safety. And I know too that, you know, a lot of you guys have bought X-Needle helmets because I ride with the X-Needle helmet. I've talked about it many times, and I says I don't think I want to do it. I said I think I'd rather ride with what's safer than getting a product that, you know, maybe. I'm sure it's a safe helmet. I'm not saying it isn't, but I'm just saying that I know for a fact that this one's rated to 28. I don't know for a fact if that other one is or not. So I didn't do it. And some of the other companies that offer helmets, I just outright don't respond either, because I know for a fact those other helmet companies, they don't do 28 miles per hour. Some of these are not rated that high. And I know from my friend falling and hitting his head that it protected him, and he got another helmet from X-Needle, because X-Needle's policy is to give a helmet out. Morning. To give another helmet out if you damage your helmet from a fall. So that's always been my philosophy for products. You know, it's they give me something, I want to use it. And I can't keep everything though, as you know. That's why this Engwe E26 is up for sale. $800. Just a reminder in case anyone hasn't picked it up yet. As long as it's still lasting. $800. Cash only. $50 bills. Remind you guys. Yeah, take a look at. Okay, here's where you see it. Go to russisright.com. There'll be a redirect to the russisright.blogspot.com site, and then you'll be able to see the announcement of it there. If it's not announced there anymore, that means that it's already picked up by somebody else. All right. Alrighty. Anyway, that's really about all I have. Just wanted to tell you my own philosophy on how I do things and why I don't take certain products. Yeah, same thing with the bikes too, really, right? I mean, so many bikes have been offered, and I just haven't taken them all. I only take a handful of them. I have been thinking about some of the less expensive bikes, because I remember people mentioning, all your bikes seem to be expensive. Well, yeah, I kind of pick and choose bikes that have something to offer. I look at some of these less expensive bikes. Some of them might not be so bad, but I always wonder about the battery. Some of them, I look at the company names, and I'm just being honest with you guys. I look at some of the company names, I go, would I ride a bike that's called that? Some of them I can't even pronounce. Okay, like Hauti, right? I told you about the Hauti camel. That's kind of a weird name. But it had something to offer. It had the dual batteries. And I go, wow, dual battery cargo bike. Well, that's kind of unique. So that's why I brought it in. I like the bike. It's really actually pretty good. I did order a replacement seat post. Not seat post, the seat post. Yeah, seat post. I'm trying to think about what is the technical name for it. Yeah, I ordered a 400 millimeter in length seat post because it's a little short. You know, they give you a suspension seat post. For suspension is really kind of, you don't feel it that much. I feel the seat post suspension on this Engwe more. It always kind of compresses a little bit for me, almost a little too much on this Engwe. But I'm heavy, as you know. But it was a little short, so I ordered up one of those because I do intend to keep the Hauti Camel for a while. Maybe not keep it forever, but for a while. So as I'm riding it, I still want to be able to have some decent leg extension with it. Oh, Pedro Fernandez, one of our subscribers, asked a question today. He says, just a medical question. He says, he asked about leg extension. Would improper saddle height cause a problem with your with your knees and stuff. And I said, you know, I'm not a doctor. I don't know for a fact, but I will tell you based on my own experience, I think it would, because when I had the problems with my knees, when I didn't have full leg extension, I could feel it in my knees a lot more. So, so this is why I want a pretty decent leg extension. In fact, Wally, who's one of our viewers, you know, as I was riding with him the other day, he said, you know, he said the same thing. He says, you know, we were talking about leg extension because I was riding that Hauchi camel at the time, and I told him, I said, I think I got to get another seat post on this thing. He goes, this is coming from, he says, this comes from a person who rides with experience. Yeah, I've been riding a long time. I told him, I've always been interested in bikes, even though I couldn't always ride a bike. I said, when I first moved to San Diego, one of the first things I said to Mrs. Wright when we got there, hey, you want to buy some bikes? Yeah, we didn't bring bikes with us, so we had to buy bikes, and we didn't pay for expensive bikes. We bought relatively inexpensive bikes. Just went to a sporting goods store and bought inexpensive bikes. It's okay, we didn't ride that much. We rode around Lake Miramar. If you're from San Diego, that's where we went. And so we bought bikes, and then when we moved back, I had to sell the bikes off. We couldn't fit it in the truck. We had a really big truck, you know, because we had all our furniture that we had gathered over 8 years of living there and everything. We were moving everything back to Chicago area. And I said, oh, I can't fit everything in there. I can't fit the bikes in there. So, so I said to the movers, because I paid a couple guys who helped me load the truck. We drove the truck ourselves. I said, you guys want a couple of bikes? I sold it to them for like $20 for the two bikes, $10 a bike. They bought them. I mean, they'd be crazy if they didn't. I mean, even back then, even cheap bikes were at least, I don't know what they cost, $150 each, maybe, something like that, which is relatively cheap for a bike, you know, even in standards back then. So I said, you guys want a couple of bikes for $10 each? And they bought them. And then when we moved to the Chicago area, I said to my wife, I said, hey, you want to buy a couple bikes? Yeah, that's it's always on my mind, right? Even then I wanted bikes, and then I couldn't ride it. Like I said, after I bought that giant bike, she had a Trek. If it had 50 miles on it, I'd be surprised. I couldn't ride it. My knees were messed up. So, yeah. So it sat for years. Eventually, you know, after the knee replacement, I ended up buying an e-bike. And then we ended up donating my mountain bike that only had like 50 miles on it. Donated it to a family in need because she said, you're never going to use it. I mean, be realistic. You got all these e-bikes. When are you ever going to ride this thing? And I thought about it. I go, yeah. I mean, I felt bad because I kind of always said to myself, I will ride this bike one day. And I did ride it around the block a couple of times, but that's about it. You know, with the e-bike, why would I ride the other bike? So, all right, that's about it. It's enough. Hey, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, put some comments below. How did you get into bike riding? And how did you get into the e-bike riding? Put a comment. I'll talk to you guys next time.